Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Sonic Love. So in today's video, we're going to finally be checking out the Retroid Pocket 5. I think it's going to be the best handheld, price, budget over performance that your hard-earned money can buy, especially for the end of 2024. So happy new year to everybody. Hope everybody has a fantastic year ahead. So without further ado, let's jump into the video and unboxing of the Retroid Pocket 5. So there's a few different versions that you can get, but you can get the 16-bit, the white, the black and the GameCube. I went with the GameCube version. Has to bring back some absolute pure nostalgia with GameCube, and also playing GameCube games on a GameCube Retroid Pocket 5 to me just sounds absolutely delightful, and I can't wait to do that. So the box is your normal standard generic box that you get from Retroid Pocket. A few graphical details on there, Retroid Pocket 5 on the side, and that's about it. But let's open it up and check it out. Wow. Obviously, as you can tell with me opening it, I have pre-opened it because I just couldn't wait. But look at that. That just looks absolutely stunning. Wow. The indigo colour is really nice. So let's get it out the box. Let's move the box out the way. Wow. That just looks incredible. So one thing I'm noticing straight away is we have our traditional small D-pad. Don't know if you can see that, but the D-pad is quite small, and already I can see a little speck of dust on there, and this is going to be a dust magnet because it is a glass screen, but I'm not too sure if it's coming across. But the actual glass panel, there is nothing. It's just incredibly smooth. Wow, that looks really sleek. So we have our usual A, B, X, Y. We do have the colours, which is very nice. Green, red and grey on the top. We have our distinctive yellow C-stick, or second analog. Analog feels really nice, to be honest. Feels really comfortable in the finger. Not too much travel, but yeah, it feels really nice. Very responsive. So we have our select at the top, our start on the top right. We have a back button, I presume, over here at the bottom right. Here we'll have the Retroid launcher. At the bottom we have our SD card slot with a little flap. It does feel flush, so there's no sticky out bit. We have a 3.5mm headphone jack and an OTG port and charging port at the bottom. We have front firing speakers, which is a nice touch. It'll be interesting to see how well they perform. I'm not expecting much on a mid-range budget handheld, but I'm sure they're going to suffice. On the top of the unit we have our triggers, and yes, they have got, I'm not too sure if it's coming across on camera focus, there we go, R1 and R2, but it has a very grainy effect on there, which is nice. Clicky but not too loud. Nice feeling analog triggers, so it'll be very responsive for racing games, which I like. On the top we have a power button. We have our volume. We have left trigger and right trigger on the right hand side. So on the back of the unit you can see the fan intake and outtake. It has been designed really nice. It looks very sleek. So we do have these nice ergonomic bumps on the back, which are quite nice, and they're also shaped around the triggers, which I quite like. I have noticed that there is some smudging, not too much, but yeah, it's definitely happening. especially on the front with it being all glass. So yes, you'll definitely need a microfiber cloth. But yeah, overall, I am very impressed with how this feels and how this looks. It's really nice. As you can see from me spinning it around, you can see my oily, greasy fingers. I've gone all over it. So yeah, it is very smudgy. If you can see, but it is, you could probably write high. Yeah, you will definitely need a glass cleaner, and likewise, as you can see here by the actual buttons themselves, and that it is, yes, it is a smudge and dust magnet. But that's a small sacrifice because it looks absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to check this out and turn it on and see how beautiful this screen is. I will leave some specifications here just so you can see what's in this bad boy and what to expect performance wise later on in the video when I showcase emulation performance. One of the biggest things that I found with the Retroid Pocket 5 is the screen. The level of blackness on the screen is phenomenal, and because of the high saturation colors, it just makes everything so vibrant. It just feels so nice and pleasurable to the naked eye. Hope it's coming across just how nice it is. You can see that there is a little bit of a reflective shine. It's not as bad as what's coming across on video, but yeah, you can see it with my hand. With it being a glass front, that's to be expected. So I do apologize in advance for any smudging, but the screen looks absolutely fantastic. Everything is running really smooth, whether you use it as touch or whether you use direct input. It just feels really nice with that Snapdragon 865, very responsive and snappy. But you can see that we have our usual settings: internet, performance. So when you press on performance, you can have standard, performance or high performance, but you can play majority of them in standard. But sometimes some games do stutter, and I find that keeping it in the middle, which is performance, helps eliminate anything at all right the way through the emulation experience for higher end gaming. We have fan, we have quiet, smart or sport. To be honest, playing the Retroid Pocket 5, even when the fan kicks in, it's quite quiet. I was really shocked and surprised at just how quiet the fan is. But yeah, the screen is absolutely beautiful and everything is really sharp and crisp. It just makes the experience of emulation really nice on this larger display. With it being 16:9, so a lot of GameCube, PS2 can be used in widescreen hacks, which some play really nice and some look awful, but that's not the fault of the device. It is the compatibility within the emulation itself. But when you get a GameCube game with 16:9, 3x resolution, it just looks incredible. So overall, my first impressions of everything is, yeah, top notch. The only thing that I do feel is when you're holding it in the hands, that it's a little bit smaller than, as you can see, I don't hold it necessarily in the palm because I find it a bit too small. So as you can see, if you hold it in your palm, like I'd be hitting the left trigger with basically this part of my finger, and that's just not how you do it, and I can't keep my fingers like that because it's very uncomfortable. So I find myself using these ergonomic bumps but resting my fingertips on them, and then as you can see, even though I've only got my fingertips on it, my thumb is perfectly placed for the D-pad, so I don't find myself holding it like this because it's too cramped. So yeah, I hope that comes across. So if you've got larger hands, then I think, God, it'd be even worse. So it is quite relatively small with holding it like with the fingertips and holding it like this and playing like this, I've had no issues. And yeah, I've played for long periods of time and it didn't cramp my hands or fingers. But I did try holding it a little bit closer in the hand and there was just no way. My hand started to cramp. It was very irritable. I didn't like that experience. So maybe you can get the accessory, or maybe if you go on Etsy, you'll be able to get accessory with hand grips and that'll make it a better experience. But overall, if you use your fingertips and lightly hold it, it's a great experience even for longer periods of time. So I know this is what you come to see, is probably to see the performance. With the 16:9 Game Boy Advance games look incredible on here. So what we'll do is we'll jump in, like just look at the colours and how saturated they are. They just look absolutely delicious. Let's jump into a game. So any 8-bit, 16-bit, PS1, Sega Saturn, they're all just going to look absolutely marvellous on here. And so far I've really been enjoying the experience. I think the D-pad is one of the best that I've used. Yes, it's small, but it's so precise. It's just so responsive and it just makes playing these old retro games really nice. I do wish that Retroid would put their analog stick above the D-pad, because I mainly, with using the horsepower in this, that I mainly play analog stick games. So even though that I use my fingertips to place the device in my hand, on my fingers and use it this way, I still think that I would much prefer a little bit closer and then have my thumb resting here with the analog stick. So maybe that's something to consider in the future, Retroid. But yeah, it is a great experience and I hope it's coming across just how sharp this screen is. Yeah, it's really, really good. So all your 8-bit, 16-bit, it's just going to look so nice. I just need to knee somebody in the head before I move on to another game. Next person. There we go. So satisfying. So we're going to kick it up a notch, because obviously a lot of people will be getting this unit not only to play retro games, but they all want to play the higher end stuff. So let's move on to PPSSPP. No hacks, 4x resolution, which is 1080p, Vulkan back end, and let's get into some games. Apologies for the gameplay as I'm playing through a camera, which is never good. But if you're a massive fan of PSP, then you're going to absolutely thoroughly enjoy playing PSP games on the Retroid Pocket 5. So now we're going to move on to 3DS. I'm going to showcase a few games just so you can get an inkling of what it's like. I will do showcase videos for each individual system on here. Also setup guides for the more harder stuff like Nintendo Switch and so forth. But 3DS, I like to use Lime 3DS. Only because it utilizes a large, vast amount of the screen, and also still giving you the option to click through second screen. Obviously it's touchscreen, so it works out really nice. You can go to large image and it gives you a very small image of the bottom screen and then a little bit less of the real estate of the top screen. And then if there is games where you do regularly need the bottom screen, then it's nice and easy for that to be displayed and play. Going with Mario Kart. And as you can see, it virtually takes up the whole real estate of the screen, and at 3x resolution it just brings another immersive level to play 3DS on the Retroid Pocket 5. Controls feel really nice. Whoa, that was close with the green shell, and then I got smashed with another. This game, Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS, can be absolutely punishing. Go get him. But again, this is a really one of the best experiences I've had playing. 3DS has been on this device. It suits it perfectly and I absolutely love it. One of my favourite games of all time, Ocarina of Time 3D, which is on the 3DS, and I have to say that I've been playing it and wow, I'm blown away just how amazing it looks on here. 3x resolution just looks absolutely scrummy. So this is what I mean about the quality of the screen. Here we have in Link's house, and I've clicked the right stick going to the bottom of the screens, and as you can see, it just is incredibly sharp and incredibly crisp. But when you go into the game, you can see just how lovely all the details look in Link, and obviously all the background graphics as well. They just look incredible. 3x resolution, stunning, absolutely stunning, and such a joy to play. It makes it feel like a new game. It really does. On individual performance of each system, at 3x resolution you will get some stutters, but that's just your shader cache. You can pre-add shader cache builds, but if you just play it a little while, they normally filter out. But yeah, it looks incredible, and the screen, with it being so vibrant, it just makes it feel like a new game. Really does. So moving on to what I personally got this handheld for, which is GameCube. Now, I know that there is PS2, which also plays incredibly amazingly well on here. But personally myself, obviously with the GameCube unit and also GameCube, this is the reasons why. So we're going to jump into a few games on GameCube just to show you what the performance is like. Some games that you will have to change to OpenGL, but the majority of them are running from Vulkan. Like Double Dash only works with OpenGL. You can hold and press for changing individual settings. but I'll showcase that when I do the individual games, all the little tips and tricks to go with it. But just to show you the power and level of performance that the Retroid Pocket 5 has, I'll showcase one of the hardest games to run, which is F-Zero GX. So this is a harder one to run, but even the harder tracks run really well on here. It's just a joy to see, and yeah, I'm absolutely loving the GameCube experience on the RP5. Like, you'll see the odd occasional dip, but you don't really notice it, to be honest. Even the harder tracks work well with the RP5. Even the Retroid Pocket can handle, yeah, I'd say 99.9% of GameCube games. There will be games that just aren't compatible, or there is a couple, maybe two games that are just, 2 or 3 games that are just incredibly, notoriously difficult, like Star Wars. That is a tough one on any system. But yeah, you will not be disappointed with GameCube on the RP5. Likewise with GameCube, if you are a PS2 fan, you're going to absolutely thoroughly enjoy PS2 on here. Everything I've chucked at it so far works incredibly well. There is games that are harder to run on PS2, but you can drop the resolution down. Personally, when I'm playing it off camera, I take it down to maybe 2x resolution across everything. I don't need that extra resolution with a screen like this, and it still looks as good. And to be honest, even some games, if you have to take it down to native, will still look incredibly good on here because of the screen. But this is 2x resolution, OpenGL. Running amazing. What a game this is. But again, fan of PS2, you will not be disappointed. I think that I just can't get over the quality, I can't get over the performance, and I can't get over the price. I think Retroid Pocket have definitely hit a home run with this one. Let me know in the comments, are you thoroughly enjoying yours? And what one did you get? Did you get the GameCube version, the 16-bit, the white version? What do you play on it the most? That'll be I'd be interested to know what you are solely playing on it, whether it's retro or whether it's higher end emulation. Moving on to some Spintendo glitch, and yeah, I've been absolutely loving tinkering around. Now, with this, there is a multitude, and I mean like Marvel multiverse level of combinations that you need to do in order to get games running. Some without glitches, some just to make sure that you get 30 FPS. And like, I know it may put a lot of people off, but I'm actually enjoying it. Like seeing games that people say that just don't work, but then obviously getting them to work, it's really, really good. Sometimes you have to go through Sadachi or Yuzu, then you have to change out the firmwares, the pod keys, then you have to swap out the title keys, then you have to have updates, then you can change all of them randomly to different ones just to make games run. But yeah, you'll be surprised just how many games run at full speed and without any hiccups once you find the right combination. Like this one, for instance, like it's not even crashed once, and yeah, it's really good. But I will do an individual video showcasing what you need to get these games up and running, and also which combination to use in order to get the best performance. And yeah, look forward to that video. Maybe even like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification to make sure that you don't miss any videos on Spintendo glitch. So at the moment, as you can see, this is running 21 frames, and it can jump down to 19.5, but it can go up to 21 and 23 and 24. Now, if it didn't have the FPS counter, you wouldn't really know, because it's actually generally quite smooth. Obviously this video is in 60 frames per second, so you'll be able to see that it's not stuttering, it's just maintaining that steady frame rate. But this is the process, this is the progress so far that I have where you are able to play the shrines. Now, I did have a combination where you get 30 FPS constantly in this main area, but when you go into the shrines, then it just becomes an absolute no-go through crashes or glitches, and every time you load it back up, you advance a little bit further and then it crashes again. And for me, that is just unplayable. Where this may not be 30 in the main area as yet, because I am still testing out more combinations, but at least you are able to play the dungeons, and with that then you are able to play and progress the game. But I still will work out and do some combinations. But again, if the FPS wasn't on, guys, it's still massively playable and looks great. But yeah, I'll do a separate video for this. Lastly, I want to touch on Android gaming. So I'm going to choose Alien Isolation, all high graphics. But I've been using and playing this game for a while on Android handhelds. And with this screen and high graphics, this just looks absolutely incredible. The level of detail is really nice. It plays really well with the controls. Very responsive and incredibly smooth. So I also want to touch on the sound. I wouldn't say it's terrible, but I wouldn't say it's the best. The front firing speakers are a nice touch, but the lows are not very good. The highs are great and mid-range is fantastic, but I'd say the lows, they need a little bit of work. But still, they get the job done. But your experience with Android games on here is going to be incredible. You're going to absolutely love it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'm just going to give you some points of what I've liked so far and what I absolutely love, and then what I think could have either been improved or I'm not so much fussed about with first impressions. I think the overall look of the device is fantastic. I think it looks absolutely exceptional. I think it's very nostalgic, and they've knocked it out of the park. To me, I am very, very thankful that they made this version. And it's one of the main reasons why I got it in the first place, to play GameCube on. So look and style, fantastic. I do think one thing that I don't like is I don't like the fact that the stick itself is the placement. I think that these should be swapped around. Don't know how you feel, guys. Let me know in the comments. I didn't even realize it's getting dark. I'll have to put the light on, but I'm wrapping up anyway. So yeah, I think the triggers and the actual controls themselves overall are actually really, really good. I think the buttons are really, really nice. I think they're very, very responsive, not too much travel, and they feel great when you're doing smash ups, like beat 'em ups and slash ups. They're just great. The sound, I think, could be improved massively. The screen is definitely highlights, one of the best, I think, with it being so bezel-less, and the fact that it's just seamless, one bit of glass. I didn't think I'd like that, but having it and playing it for a good few days now, I absolutely love it, and I think they should do that on every handheld because it makes the experience just look and feel amazing. I think the emulation and the performance is exceptional, even though it's a really old chip, the Snapdragon 865. I still think that it is doing wonderful things, and I think it's great for the price point. So overall, I think Retroid have done an amazing, stellar job with this handheld. And if you haven't got a mid-range or a high-end device, then you'll be hard to find price, performance and style. At £220, I think it's an absolute bargain. And the only other thing that I found horrible and the experience to be not that great was the wait of over a month, and also paying like £30 for the privilege for that. I think Retroid, you can sort out your postal, especially when I can go to Lit NXT and order something of Lit NXT and have it in 7 days to my door. And I don't have to pay any shipping. So yeah, love to know your experience with the Retroid Pocket 5, guys, and what you think. But personally, my unboxing and first impressions, yeah, I'd say it's a no-brainer. If you haven't got one, get one. If you've got an Odin 2, keep that, because it's probably going to be 10 times better than what this is. It may not look as stylish, and it may be a bit more chunky, who knows, not with a bezel-less display, but yeah, you've also got the AYN portal for that if you want an upgrade. But yeah, I love it. I think this is great. And as always, guys, thanks for watching and take care.